Hello everyone, I'm Mariana. In this video, I'm going to show you how to make the Hungarian Fisherman Soup. This is a traditional and delicious recipe. It's called halászlé in Hungarian, which literally translates fisherman's soup. The original recipe actually calls for 5 different types of fish, all from freshwater, and most of that we don't even have it in the United States. So you can basically use any kind of fish. And some things that you might find strange. For example, you're supposed to use the river's water, you're supposed to use the fish's blood, and you cook the entire fish, the head and the fins and everything. We're not going to do that, but I'm going to show you a more modern version and also how I put my own spin on it. So let's get started. Here are the ingredients. The original recipe calls for 5 different types of fish, which would include catfish, pike and carp, and some other fish that we don't have here. I am going to use 2 trout and 1 bass, which will be fine. You want to use any kind of fish that's freshwater, nothing saltwater fish, and the more types of fish you have, the better it will taste. Other than that, originally you would only use some purple onion, some salt, some oil, whichever kind, it's up to you, and some paprika. What I have here is originally from Hungary, but you could buy it at any grocery store. This is not spicy. Besides this, what I like to use, this is paprika cream from Hungary. It's the same thing as the paprika, it just adds a little bit in thickness. I like the texture. And the other thing I have here is called gulyás cream. This is almost the same thing. It has a little bit more, some more onions, some more spices, but doesn't really change the taste. And this one is also, none of these are spicy so far. Now, you do want to add a little bit of spice to this soup. How spicy you make it, it's up to you, but it should have a little bit of kick. So what I have here, this is basically ground paprika, not spicy. Also from Hungary, of course, you gotta have the traditional taste. And this one will be spicy, so I will add just a little bit. Of course, you wanna taste it and keep adding. Don't add too much. So your first step was to pour some oil in the pot and cut up your onions. Dice them up as small as possible. You put them in there, and then you add all these spices. Now, don't ask me how much. I don't think in terms of measurement. I just add whatever feels right. You want to be generous with your paprika anyways. None of it is too strong. The only thing you want to be careful is the spicy one. So after you did all this, you're going to cut off the fins and the tail and the heads of all the fish, and you're going to add it in the pot. Now, don't worry, you're not gonna eat this. You're going to cook this for about 30 minutes, and then you're going to discard them. These add flavor to the soup, but they don't have any nutritional value. You might leave the head in the soup if you want, especially if it has a lot of meat on it. It's perfectly fine. Otherwise, you can just discard them or give them to your dogs, because my dogs are very hopeful right now. They see cooking is going on and they think they're gonna get something. My base stock is almost finished, so real quick I'm gonna tell you the next steps. At this point, you're going to take out all the heads and the fins and the tail. Like I said, if you want to keep the head in there, you can do that if you want. I'm not gonna do that this time. Once you removed everything, some people say that they like to put everything in a food processor or a blender and mix it all up and then put it back in, because this will give it a nice and thick texture. But I don't like to do that, because back in the day we didn't have any blenders or food processors, so this is not traditional. I like to stay true to tradition as much as I can, and it's not even needed. Last time I made this, it was perfectly fine without it. In the meanwhile, I already cut up my fish, about 1-inch pieces, something like that. You will normally have bigger fish with bigger pieces, and that would even be more preferable, but this is fine. So you're gonna put everything in the pot and put enough water to cover it. You're gonna reduce the heat to medium, low, something like this right here, and cook it for about an hour. You don't wanna stir it. You don't want the fish pieces to fall apart. All you will have to do is basically just kind of go like this. Just shake it around, and that's all it needs. One more thing I want to tell you. this trick about tomato sauce. Definitely not traditional, so I'm gonna kind of make an exception here. But at the end, if you find your soup a little bit too soupy, too thin, you can add a little bit of tomato sauce, but you want to be careful. You don't want it to overpower the soup and have a tomato paste taste. So I would add very little. Just be very careful with it. Add it, taste it. It should add a little bit in thickness while it still keeps that salty paprika taste, not a tomato taste. And at the end, you want to taste it just one more time, and then you will be finished. So I will see you in about an hour. So I added all the fish pieces, but I need to make a correction because I forgot to tell you something. After you add the fish, you need to bring it to a boil, which is happening right now. And only after then, you want to reduce it to medium low, remember, somewhere here. And then cook it for about an hour. And if you're anything like me, you will want to stir it, but don't, because you don't need to do that. It will not get stuck on the bottom. Nothing will happen to it. Just let it be. And also the water, you might want to add a little bit more than just covering the fish. As you see, I added more because you will lose some within the hour. And you want to have a nice amount of liquid next to the fish. This is not really a stew. It is still a soup. So while everything is cooking, I want to tell you where you could find me. The first place you should check out is my blog. It is www.mariana.cc. There I have blog posts about everything I do in my free time. Camping, I do as much as possible. I have Camping 101 blog posts, and this is for those who have never gone camping. They don't know how to do it. They just need to get started. So if that's you, check out those posts because I have everything described for you, every step you need to take. I also have some camping stories, some of my fishing and hunting adventures, and I also have recipes. This soup is described there, the original traditional recipe, and I also tell you exactly what to do. So just in case this is not as clear, you're a visual person, you need to see it in writing, it's right there. So go ahead and subscribe to my blog. I add new posts every week, several times. The other place is Instagram. My name is huntress.308. It's actually hun.tress.308. Hun is because I'm Hungarian, so that's part of Huntress. And 308, well, favorite caliber gun. So go ahead and follow me there. And on YouTube is the same name, hun.tress.308. Go ahead and subscribe there. I'm sure you found me there with this recipe, but I also add other videos weekly. So give it a check and leave a comment. Let me know what you think. If you have any questions, you can also email me at huntress@mariana.cc. So this is how you make a Hungarian fisherman soup. This is a very satisfying, delicious meal that is low cost. It is easy to make. It only requires a few ingredients. I have also measured and weighed everything and added it up. And each serving would be about this bowl, and it's only 240 calories. It is very filling, surprisingly. What I would suggest is have some toast, sourdough bread, put some butter on it because you do need a little bit extra carbs, and some butter, and then dip it and eat it like that. Delicious. Just a little bit spicy, just a little kick, but you could taste everything. My dad used to say when you eat fish, you should have some bread with it, or at least have it on the side, just in case you get a little bone gets stuck in your throat. He said take a big bite of your bread and it will make it all go down. Best advice I've ever heard about eating fish. Now, besides this, the only thing you need is a little bit of Hungarian palinka. Super strong. I don't know if I'm gonna drink all that, but take a shot of that. Jó étvágyat!